It's a streaming time. Hello and welcome. It's a fine St. Patty's Day. I've taken my shot of whiskey and fucking Malort. And, tonight's going to be a pretty okay night. I'm not doing any excessive drinking because, it's a work day, but hope everyone's doing well. I'm doing pretty alright. Yes, for those who don't know who I am, I'm Mastafran. I'm a artist animator. I just streams mostly a lot of chronicles of me kind of just developing my game Black Mask. And Black Mask, it's a self-action platform about a raccoon treasure hunter, and I've been developing this game since 2020, and I've been working on it for I'd say just till now. Me and my programmer friend have been trying to develop a demo for the past now going on 5 years, and we're still going strong trying to get that out there. So, this is a stream where you can just stop by and see what I've been up to. Welcome, Mr. Goji, Shani. Glad you could stop by. Things have been pretty alright. Tonight I'm gonna be kind of just getting some more stuff done for this Aseprite, because I've been kind of just not really working on it as much as I want to. Kind of just been, I guess, busy with life. But yeah, things have been pretty alright. Last Friday, I recently did a interview with a podcast, Cartoonist by Night. And, I kind of just had a big talk with them. So I will drop the, when they upload it ASAP, they're still editing it. So, I'll drop it soon, and you get to get a little insight of, how, I kind of came to be as an artist, as well as kind of just how I got into pixel art and retro games. So that's going to be pretty nice here. And yeah, hope everyone's doing alright. Oh yeah. Yep, St. Patty's Day. The general day's kind of just been okay. It's just, typical work day, but other than that, things have been pretty alright. How's everyone else doing? They kind of just having a bit of a, having a nice, bit of a drink at the moment. They're probably all at work, but, I thought I'd ask. Alright. Yeah, just getting these leads done. Yeah, things have been pretty decent in general. I got someone lined up to do some 3D models. Okay, that's real nice. Actually, find someone who works in 3D. That's good. Yeah, I've only managed to have, some people. There have been, I know a few people who've done 3D model designs for characters that I've designed once before. I don't know if you remember. You probably don't know, but there was this one guy who was developing a game about mouse boxers, and I designed some characters for him with that. And there were a few 3D models for that kind of thing, but so far nothing notable came up. I did get in contact with some of the models just to, kind of just say hi and pick their brain about that. I'll probably drop them a message sometime soon, because it has been a while since we've actually chatted. And Usa is still at work. Yeah, that makes sense, only for 2 more hours. Yeah, that's one thing that kind of like kind of is weak about a lot of like holidays that take place on the weekdays, that you know, you can't really go all out with a lot of them because, well, you know, it's a weekday, you have work tomorrow. Especially for me, who has random drug tests, and I recently re-upped my CDL and I do not want to lose it right now. But it's good that you're actually like getting stuff rolling on that. I'm always a fan of being able to just get stuff just going ASAP. One underrated aspect about, I'd say, just getting game stuff done is trying to just get yourself in front of the play as soon as possible, like getting to actual proper testing and actually working towards finding the fun. That is always good with that. Yeah, currently Adam's been my programmer. He's been like bug testing the boss fight with Nad, this fat Tanuki character here, and yeah, so far so good. He's currently working on like alternate face with him right now, and yeah, so far so good with that. And you know, I hope to see this in action sometime soon, maybe this year. You know, that'll be pretty rad. That'll kind of alleviate a few of my anxiousness with that. But other than that, I've kind of just been, you know, just doing what I can. These leaves are kind of okay. The toughest thing about pixel arting foliage is you're kind of like trying to make this seem like it's natural looking, kind of like breaking up the blobs. All right, yeah, breaking out the blobs so they actually look like, you know, leaves and stuff. I mean, so far so good. Yeah, have you scoped out the demo playtest milestone in terms of I got something in front of me. Features, levels, enemies, and bosses. Yes and no. So far we've kind of just been making a demo where it's just like 3 enemies, 1 mini boss, and this guy's the boss. And essentially we have the core projectile functions where Cole is able to fire arrows and throw knives, and he's able to run and turn invisible and stuff like that. And those are the core gameplay stuff that we're sticking with. In terms of other like gameplay features at the moment, you know, that's kind of like yeah, nothing has come up, anything new. We haven't like got anything significantly out of the blue right now. So, you know, right now I think we're pretty square away when it comes to what we're actually doing. So yeah, I mean, like story wise, I'm pretty like squared away. Like 4 core areas, I am trying my damnedest not to go past that. As much as I want to like character design stuff, I do want to at least try to just keep this short, because this is already kind of, I guess for me personally, I sometimes feel, or at least I sometimes worry that we're going beyond scope, because I'm still inexperienced when it comes to development. So it's one of those things where I guess arguably I'm taking it more conservatively in general when it comes to what I want. Like my big minimum is like an action adventure game and stuff like an action platformer. And a lot of the extra stuff is literally just stuff that my programmer suggests, and I kind of just go with it because he seems to know what he's able to do. And I'm kind of like, okay, I've got animations, I will plan animations for that stuff, and I will write towards what is available. So far, things have been you know, I guess, on schedule, I'd say. Like, you know, there's some little foibles with like our day jobs and stuff like that, but other than that, I mean, we don't really have crazy troubles on the horizon. I can't think of what could go wrong. Let me think. Okay, I think one notable thing that could go wrong is a second version of what actually happened back in 2020, where my programmer was changing computers and he couldn't get access to his older hard drive, which had a previous build of Black Mask back in 2000, I think like 2001 to 2002 overall. And so we sort of need to just restart development. So, you know, I kind of just left that to him because, you know, I still had my sprites. Like, I didn't really need to redo artwork. It's just, you know, he kind of just need to redo getting stuff done. And apparently he used Corgi Engine to kind of just like, you know, just catch up back. Because I think previously he was like trying to make his own physics, and of course that was, you know, that's not exactly a good idea with that. So I think what I was doing with this, the leads were going up here, and then there was like a little gap. I know what I could do. Do this, kind of like around the silhouette just a bit, so his tail sticks out. Put this here. Okay. And that way, the leaves kind of like frame them a bit. Yeah, do a little bit of like framing with this, and that'll look good. So yeah, so far so good in terms of the specific things that we're doing. Because I know for sure it's just 4 core zones. And those 4 zones are Cat Kingdom, Dog Kingdom. I'm gonna call it like Ungulate Kingdom because it's like the pigs, bulls, and stuff like that. And I think Bird Kingdom was the other one. I need to look through my design doc with that. But I believe it was Bird Kingdom. And then there's like a final level and stuff like that. And the nature of like how you progress through each level is essentially you kind of like have free reign to go to each level provided you have enough money, and that's where the merchant mechanic comes in. Like, Cole must like make enough money selling his wares in order to be able to like pay for the ferry to get to the next level and stuff like that. Hopefully that mechanic's actually not tested. Like, I'm not even sure that's fun, because thinking about that reminds me of the how No More Heroes did its progression, and that's pretty divisive. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like that could be tedious if we're not careful. So we need to dive deep into whether or not it's going to be working or not. Yeah, Ungulate Kingdom makes the finest cow tools in all the land. Oh yeah, because I actually really have been enjoying making the cow characters, and I have a plan to reuse the bear character sprites and make them like Minotaur types. Well, you know, they're not actually Minotaurs, but they function in that like idea. Like, obviously they're more like, you know, cow furries, but it's like, you know, it goes with the whole like mythological Minotaur thing. So yeah, that's kind of like how that goes with that. That's the overall plan, I'd say. and then everything else is literally we need to test more. I think that's one thing that's kind of like making me anxious overall, is that we are not testing as much. And the few bits of gameplay we have tested, I've kind of like felt a little like bothered by like things that are kind of like missing. Like the jumping with like Black Mass still kind of like feels a little iffy, and the programmer has acknowledged that. So he's been working on knocking that out and getting that to actually feel better. So yeah, that's the big noble thing. And also the magic system's one of those things where it's like, okay, one spell allows Cole to become invisible in the shadows and essentially store his items. But it's kind of one of those things where it's like, I guess for me, the narrative of the magic system's kind of like incomplete for me, because you know, the initial idea for the magic system when I was thinking about it as a con was literally just Cole fights an enemy who has this ability and Cole has to fucking deal with it. And I didn't really like dive too much into the lore, like the nature. Like I don't really have like a Brandon Sanderson understanding of like how the heck the magic system works at the moment, other than, you know, they're essentially like, you know, the typical like spell book system, you know, wizards study their spells and stuff like that. But the nature of how they find their spells is they're essentially like treasure hunting for older translations of those spells, because those were the actual more complete translations of those spells. And you know, Cole was raised by a witch who basically like helped him to not make bad decisions when he was a child, and you know, taught him how to be a merchant to kind of just give himself a better lot in life. And she died and left him his fortune and stuff like that, which I keep thinking I should like change up, because it's like that's not really like giving him enough stakes. So I'm thinking maybe she like left him with like a notable debt that she accrued because she was giving away too much money and stuff like that, and so like debtors are trying to like take her estate or something like that. Still kind of like exploring what I can do to kind of just give a bit more zhuzh to the story overall, because I think one thing that I'm kind of like still not as happy with is Cole's development in general, where it's like, okay, how's Cole's character? Well, he is a wacky dude, and you know, I don't really elaborate on like what makes him wacky, so I need to dive more into that. Huh. Okay, leaves are looking slightly better. I do need to de-blob some of these leaves a bit more, because some of these leaves look even, some of these leaves aren't. So I want to kind of like push these out of evenness so they can thrive. I think one thing that has been sort of helped me improve my writing is the bulls and bears rivals in the story gotta make a reference to the stock market. Actually, that would be a funny joke. Like bulls and bears are like in front, because like the general like conceit of like how their land's themed is that like the ungulate kingdom kind of like represents like farming and getting fortune and getting riches and stuff like that. Like they are essentially the I guess the merchant city country overall. So yeah, it would make sense that like there would be kind of like a little gag of like the bears and bulls and stuff like that. But then I'd have to make a New Vegas reference with that too. I've actually never played New Vegas, but I've like seen a bunch of memes with like I forget what that guy's name is. He's like a dude with a mask. is like constantly referencing the bear and the bull and California and stuff like that. I own New Vegas, I just still have never played it. I think I own like all the Fallout games. Well, actually no, I don't own 4. So I own every Fallout game before 4, I'd say. So that's kind of just one of those things where it's like, you know, I'll play that sooner or later. I still need to play more of Thief, because I kind of like fallen off playing Thief. Because I was playing Thief on stream for a short bit, but I kind of just fell away because I just need to do some other things. Yes, Thief 1. Yeah, so I was playing a little bit of Thief 1 for like, I think back in like early March, but then I kind of like, because I think last time I played on stream I died because I was still on the first level. And I don't exactly know how far I was, but I think I died like, because I got caught by a guard because they like noticed me like far off. And I kind of like was struggling to like find another hiding place and he got me. Yeah, so that's now that's one thing. I do say that I do dig the shadow mechanic. Yeah, some of those levels are very labyrinthian. Okay. Yeah, because one thing that is interesting with Thief is that you get a map, but you don't get an icon telling you where you are. Like, it'll highlight the room where you are, but it won't like give you like the little reticle to say like, okay, this arrow is you. And this is exactly where you're facing and stuff like that. Like, it doesn't give you something like that. It'll just highlight the room. So that's something I'll have to get used to. I mean, people could probably like mod that or something like that, but I want to at least get as close to the, you know, the actual experience and not like cheat too much. So probably just do that. Yeah, Thief 2 is your favorite game of all time, though. Okay. Yeah, because I have Thief Gold, and I think I do have Thief 2. Thief 2 is Deadly Shadows, right? I think so. I know I got a Thief collection from Good Old Games, like a long time ago. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna play this one day, and then I hadn't like actually gone into it. But I do want to at least play, you know, more stealth games just so I can get a better awareness of how stealth games are supposed to work, so I can at least plan my art direction to kind of like be like, okay, this is what a stealth enemy would work like and stuff like that. It's kind of interesting because like I do want to like make a stealth, you know, want to, you know, make sure Black Mass is, you know, incorporate the stealth systems and stuff, because I do have some like personal ideas of what I could do to, you know, kind of just do something distinct with stealth stuff. Because whenever I think of stealth, I think of hide and seek, like the actual like children's game. And I'm like, okay, what can I incorporate with like things like hide and seek? Yeah, I think like at the moment I think like a like where if you're caught you have the ability to like run away really fast, but the enemies are like really good pursuers, so the excitement's in being, you know, you're essentially like dealing with mini chase scenes with that. So that's the hope, is that whenever you're caught the action starts turning into like a mini chase scene. So that's kind of like the little thing that I want to, you know, try to pitch to Adam with that when it comes to, you know, how we could plan the levels and stuff like that. And one thing that I've also been like thinking about when it comes to just stealth games in general is whenever I watch high-level stealth play, it's actually really funny. Like, I feel like a player who is really good at stealth, like seeing high level stealth, looks like a cartoon, like a bumbling Buster Keaton cartoon. Especially if you're seeing like high level Metal Gear Solid 5 gameplay. I was like, oh man, that would really go with Black Mass gameplay really well. So I'm like, okay, I need to factor in like how enemies will react when dealing with all those like those situations. When you're good, it does become slapstick. And it's like I love stuff like that, because like whenever you're seeing like a Buster Keaton movie and stuff like that, or even like a old Charlie Chaplin movie, it kind of like has that slapstick feel to it. I know why I'm doing this, because this is going to be covered by these margins, so because it's supposed to be like a so what this is supposed to do is it's supposed to come on, why aren't you, oh, you're locked. So what this is supposed to do is it's supposed to scroll like this, and then it's kind of like boom, it scrolls up and reveals the main boss, and he's like this really cool guy, and that's kind of like how I would tackle like the shot. So that's kind of like the main plan of why it's shot like this instead of all the other times I've kind of like had it like this, so it's like pans up a little. The cutscenes are the cutscenes will really kind of like flex my animation knowledge and skills with that. And it's been pretty alright. So far, so good. I wonder if I could put a gradient here. I could probably like move this gradient up. Gradient up. No. Actually, no. I could probably like move this gradient up here. Like fill this here. I wonder if I could like kind of blends too much. If push comes to shove, just leave it flat, I guess. Yeah, I always like wonder, okay, is there a time I could incorporate gradients? And sometimes it's not the time to incorporate gradients. Sometimes this is not the time. Alright. I could probably refine this bow a bit more. Yeah, because the leaves look pretty fine right now. They'll probably like improve the trunk a bit more so it doesn't like end away. Or at least I should sharpen this a bit more. But actually no, let's do this one at a time. First things first, kind of like work on getting this bow looking better, because it kind of sticks out in terms of, you know, you got a bow, but it kind of just looks like this. So gotta do like the minimum bits of shading. Okay. Oh yeah. Overall, things have been pretty decent. I have been playing a lot of Deadlock over the weekend, just to veg out. and learn how the heck to actually play it. So I'm not very good, but I am having fun kind of like learning how to at least fight. So I've been playing mostly Street Brawl. I haven't like played the actual, I guess, MOBA of it. So it is one of those things where it's probably gonna take me a while to actually learn. I think it's kind of one of those things where it's like, I feel like I don't even know all the characters, so that's why I'm kind of just delaying away from learning. Like, delaying away from actually playing Dead like proper. I mean, so far so good. I mean, it's pretty nice. I think one thing that's kind of like keeping me sticking with it is like learning about the characters and stuff like that. I guess it makes a difference with like, you know, having some good like character lore. Actually makes a notable difference. Cause yeah, like like what's it, 1940s New York's a fairly unique setting for an urban fantasy in general. So it's kind of just one of those like little fun things with the deadlock. I have half of mine to like make his chest like go in like this. Then I probably would have to squish his little like moves. His chunky ass moves. He's a big boy. He cannot be stopped. Yeah, like, it looks more cohesive in general. I think one thing that I feel like I kind of fumbled when it comes to some of these character designs is that you're kind of like, when I design them, I tend to not really anticipate how their movement's gonna go till I'm actually putting them in alternate poses. And I don't plan for every pose when you know, that you're trying to like design them and stuff like that. I would say, you know, it's good to, you know, have like some key poses for when you're making a model sheet, and you know, you put them in alternate poses that kind of just make sure they can actually move around. I think a few key like poses I feel should be in every like I guess character design model sheet that I'm kind of like realizing that I need to do is I feel that I should at least make a character, you know, sitting is probably like a big notable one, because a lot of characters will be designed without sitting in mind. They'll have really elaborate armor, but that armor is like so spiky and all platey that there's no way in heck they could sit like properly and stuff like that. And especially if it's a character that's supposed to be a knight, it's kind of like, okay, you're a knight, but you'll never be able to get on a horse or anything because you have this weird like this crotch armor. I'm gonna try to like doodle it. So it's like it's essentially like you have the I forget what it's called, where you have like these leg armors, and you have what's essentially this crotch armor here. Like I see that a lot of like I guess anime armor. Like it's that same crotch armor, but I see that on like JRPG armor. I think it looks fine if the character's a foot soldier like on the field and constantly standing, but if they're gonna be mounted, that's gonna be an issue. That's probably like me, like having a bit of like an armchair. What's those guys called? Where it's like armchair, armchair HEMA, armchair like HEMA fencers. Like that's kind of like how I feel when I kind of like think about fantasy armor sometimes. Is I kind of feel like this like weirdo like HEMA LARPer. Where it's like I don't practice medieval arms. Like I'm the type of guy who's like, yeah, of course people are gonna pick guns over swords. Like I'm not dumb. I can understand how war changes. Yeah, swords are cool, but if it means living or dying, you pick the gun. Which is why I'm actually, in my, I guess, Black Mass setting, I'm actually not afraid to, like, put guns in the game. Or, not like, in the game. I don't actually know if it's gonna be in the game, but, like, you know, there's, like, guns and cannons and stuff. Like, there's gunpowder. Like, there's gunpowder, there's bombs. Like, you know, I guess there's technology that would be like, I guess, in pirate area overall. Oh yes, oh god, the HEMA LARPer Shadowverse is gonna show up after you said that. Yes, well, I happen to know like several different HEMA swordplay stuff. Meanwhile, isn't there like another YouTuber who's like basically invented a lot of like the HEMA stuff? Like he's like a black belt in HEMA and historical. He also has like a doctorate in like medieval history or something like that. I forget the argument that he was getting into with that guy. I can't really do a New Zealand accent. Alright, what's he look like from far away? Alright. Well, at least shade the ropes here. Ah, he's Aussie. He's not New Zealand. Well then, you know, I'm arguably close. Yes, the older brother of Jazza. I think that's why, because I feel like I always thought Jazza was from New Zealand, but he's not. Apparently, he's from Australia. He's from Australia. Man, it's kind of funny because every time I think of Australia, I'm always thinking of that freaking Simpsons episode where they're just taking a piss on Australia. Oi, Prime Minister! $6 dues. I don't even know if like actual Australians care about that Simpsons episode or not, but I always just think about that episode when I think about like Australians sometimes. Because that episode just destroys me. Yeah, Bart versus Australia. I should watch that again. Just them being able to like meet up with the Prime Minister and he's just lounging in a lake. It's kind of funny because I think like in actual Australian history, one of their prime ministers, I think one of their prime ministers died because he went out swimming of a beach like further in like northern Australia or something. I forget what the actual like historical thing is, but I think it was like one of their early prime ministers. He just went for a swim and just vanished. And of course everybody knows about the Emu War and stuff like that, which I feel like there is probably more detail than you initially think about, but you know, thinking about emus themselves, like, that's probably not out of the question that, you know, people would legit have trouble dealing with the emus, because birds in general are kind of like little pests sometimes. Like this morning, I had to, a bird flew into my garage, and I was kind of like trying to just get that bird out of my garage, but it was like hanging at the top of the, it was hanging at the top of the, I guess the, like, the garage railing or stuff like that. Harold Holt, okay. Yes, Harold Holt, the Australian PM who vanished, yes. So yeah, apparently he went swimming, and because he just did it just on a hobby. He just liked swimming so much, but, you know, he just went out. I think it was during a hurricane, actually. He was going swimming during a hurricane, and then he disappeared. And, you know, thinking about it, a lot of stuff that I hear about some Australian parties and stuff like that, I'm like, yeah, that kind of tracks. Because Australian dudes love to party, man. Like, those guys just love just having a good time. Especially if it's like a soccer game and stuff like that. But I think that's kind of just, you know, my American mind cannot comprehend Europeans having a good time. Oh, there's a swimming pool named after him. Oh yeah, there's also, Australians also have a thing called a goon bag. Essentially, they drink box wine, like they're chugging it, like a beer bong and stuff like that, and they call it a goon bag, and that is the most unfortunate thing. But I feel like they would probably just lean into it, like just right now they'd probably just have a good time just leaning into it and just having a laugh. Like, Australians seem like the type of folks who would, like, try to play a prank on you just to see how you'd react. I feel the same way about, like, the Irish, where they'll try to, like, prank you just to mess with you. Yeah, Zoomers everywhere go wild after the goon bag. Yeah. Speaking of Australia, I'm now like thinking about that one like kangaroo Mad Max thing that I sketched like a while ago. And I'm like, I wrote something for that, but I still have not gotten to it. I want to get back to that, because I think I could do something with that. But then again, I probably can't. It's probably like an idea where I'm like, all right, kangaroos, they look like Rob Liefeld characters, but that's the entire joke, that's it. And so I'm kind of like struggling to do something more with them. Okay, hand looks fine. Feel like I could probably like rework this finger a little better. Yeah, this would look slightly better. I don't know why I zoom in so much with this. Yeah, kind of like the Rippers from Tank Girl. Yeah, it's kind of funny because every time I think about like Tank Girl and the Rippers, I keep forgetting that like Tank Girl's kangaroo boyfriend's like a specific like a species of like, I guess, mutant kangaroos and stuff like that. I forget about that. You know, I should see about trying to find a Tank Girl collection just reading through them. Oh, Ice-T was a Ripper himself? Oh, that's fun. Was he like in the movie? Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen the Tank Girl movie. Because obviously I haven't heard anything good about it, but you know, if the movie's interesting, I might see it. Or if it's on Tubi. I'll catch movies when they're on Tubi. I think the last thing I saw on Tubi was the Batman serial. It's kind of funny because when I commented on the Batman serial on Blue Sky, I got a lot of randos kind of like dumping on me for not like acknowledging that it was a serial movie. I'm like, dude, I know it's a serial. I'm just making an observation. Like, it's literally just, you know, Tubi put them all together in one freaking movie. So because they're all together in one movie, not separated like episodes, it seems like it's a giant movie. I think one thing I'm not liking is this is too even. This looks slightly better. Yeah, the movie was wild. Yeah, I might catch that movie. Because it's one of those, like... It's weird, because I tend to be attracted to comic books too, with their movies. Like, it's kind of funny. I first got into The Spirit because I saw the movie first. And obviously the movie is not necessarily good, but it introduced me to the fact that Will Eisner is cracked at comics, and I'm like, holy cow, The Spirit kind of, I guess, redefined everything that I like about comics. And I really like Will Eisner's work because I saw this crappy little movie where Samuel L. Jackson dressed like a Nazi, and it went all over the place, and it was trying to be Sin City 2 for reasons that, I guess, for money reasons, because I still cannot tell why they went for like a Sin City thing for The Spirit. It's like Denny Colt is like unreasonably like dour. Like, when you see the comic, like, Denny Colt is a freaking goofball. Like, I feel like The Spirit wouldn't be out of place in, like, Lupin the Third and stuff like that. Like, that's how fascinating The Spirit is. Especially the later Spirit comics where it kind of, like, tilts more like a pulp adventure. So you're kind of, like, doing more like Indiana Jones type stuff. I will say that it is kind of funny that they did make the right call of not putting the Spirit's black partner in there, because, yeah, that was not going to go well. Oh yes, the martial arts kangaroos from Warriors of Virtue. But yeah, wasn't there a, yeah, Warriors of Virtue. Yeah, there was like another like, so with the kangaroo idea that I was working on, or at least that I was thinking about, I was thinking that like, I was gonna make what's essentially a post-apocalypse Ninja Turtles send-up type thing, where it's like, it's very inspired by like stories like Ninja Turtles. But I kind of like put like my own like post-apocalypse twist to it. You know, like 4 kangaroos with distinct personalities, and they must like solve a thing. But, you know, it's like post-apocalypse theme and stuff like that, because I guess nothing in Australia can not be in an apocalypse because I'm creatively bankrupt. I'm sure if I like took more time to think about Australia some more, I probably could find something more. I feel like I fumbled this. This kind of like sticks out too much. Okay. I'm kind of like looking at this and like seeing like, okay, how is this refined? I also feel like I want to like rework the leg. Put this leg here. Yeah, put his leg here. So it kind of like looks like he's actually standing. Kind of blends in, but he looks much more like straightforward. Okay. Probably could refine this leaf a little better. Oh. This looks more like a heart than a leaf. Yeah, you know, leave it be. Maybe I'm just like overworking it. I feel like I keep like putting myself in situations where I keep overworking a lot of stuff. Let's see. Probably could do some like probably could do some more with Nad's tail arrows because they kind of like kind of stick out too much. Yeah, that kind of like fall into shading. Then you refine it. With this. I'll kind of just blend in some more. Yeah, have you blend in with here. That'll be how the arrows look. Have that blend out. That way it'll look more, yes, this is looking good. Yeah, that's looking good. So far, so good. Got you working here. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Feel like this arrow could be inside more. You know, like scaled down a bit. Okay. pretty solid. I think I'll probably like do some like refinement arrows where put like other arrows here, and that'll be how I do that. That'll look fine. That looks fine. I keep wondering, should I green this out so it's not as that looks fine. Okay, that's actually looking good. Looks good. I feel like I could probably like merge this more, not have it looking so even. Okay. I like that his mouse not as Alright. Alright. It's a little like so far, but it's like you zoom out, it's like, yes, this looks like a face. If you zoom in, it just looks like a gobbledygook of pixels. It's kind of like you get so used to working on the pixels that if someone looked at you from outside, you'd look insane. I guess that's kind of just the pixel artist life, is you end up kind of like getting yourself just used to looking at the pixels a certain way, and then suddenly you end up feeling like you're in the Matrix. Let's see, I have been a pixel artist, I guess arguably for 5 years right now. I'd probably make the argument that I'm probably like starting to feel like I guess I'm not feeling as able to I guess one thing that I'm probably like worried about is like I feel like I'm kind of stagnating when it comes to my pixel art skill. Like I feel as if a lot of my like pixel art skills kind of just stagnating because I'm not really doing anything crazy new. But I think it's one of those things where it's like right now I'm kind of just focused on just getting as much, just getting all this pixel art done. Alright, I'm gonna at least adjust the tree trunk a little before I wrap for the night. Alright. Wrap up the tree trunk just a little bit more. Get some leaves looking good. Make it look like get it jungly looking. I would probably have an easier time if my frickin' pen pressure settings was actually working on this program, but I've yet to figure out how to just get this stupid thing to look like pen pressure stuff. Alright, back to 1 pixel. I can't just use that to just add a wee bit of depth. One thing that I have been trying to just get myself more used to is kind of like pixeling and forgetting, where I can't just put down the pixel art and not fret so much about getting the precise detail down so much. Because I sometimes feel that I'm a little anal about how I place my pixels. So sometimes you can hit a weird point where I probably am spending a lot of time trying to refine details that are kind of beyond the pale. Where I'm fumbling with pixel details that looked fine, but I end up like overworking to death. So that's an easy trap that I can fall into, is you end up working a pixel thing which too much, because you're always like, okay, I just have to have all these details. That's what makes a thing look good. And that's not necessarily the case, especially these days. Like, I've seen like all the controversy with like the DLSS and all that stuff, and yeah, it kind of like highlights that just because it has more detail doesn't necessarily mean that it actually looks cohesive. Because the nature of realism arts, as in the art movement realism, is not to convey like every detail, but to convey the sense of cohesion and stuff like that. You'll notice that whenever people are making those ultra realistic paintings, they're not like one-to-one photographs, but they look real because your brain fills in the details of, you know, what's out there. Like if you actually walk closer to a painting specifically, you'll kind of just notice that it looks all blobby. Like when you're actually closer to a painting, you're just seeing those brush strokes, and it ends up kind of just looking so blobby that you're like, holy cow, how on earth is it that when you're up close it looks like a giant mess, but when you're far away it just looks cohesive? Well, that's because painters use that illusion of detail to essentially, you know, lead your eye towards what's important. So in my case, my mission is to use these leaves to kind of just lead you to where Nat is. You know, it starts here, then it's like goes up further, and then Nat is the character that sticks up out here. I probably adjust like where Nat is. I could probably group you, call you Nat. They probably like nudge you further here. Now you were fine here. I guess I'm seeing a bit of empty space here, so that's probably why I'm feeling like this ain't enough. Maybe like a branch or something kind of just round out this, but essentially these details need to be, you know, coherent to this important spot. So this is Nat. So truth is, I shouldn't even be spending so much time on these leaves, because the big star of this show is this character here. So yeah. And there's a bunch of like other like painting stuff that I vaguely remember from a lot of like art history classes and stuff like that, and art theory stuff. But a lot of it is very crazy basic. Like it's been a while since I've actually like been to college doing art stuff. So it can be one of those things where sometimes I feel like an imposter trying to explain this, because I do wonder, do I actually remember this stuff? Not particularly, but I have like vague recollections of like why certain movements were the way they were. What's the point of abstract art? Abstract art is less about it representing something specific and more representing the fact that humans can do it. Like abstract art is especially important, especially in this wake of AI and stuff, because when you actually like go see an abstract piece in person, you're kind of like thinking, okay, this is kind of pointless, but you end up going in awe with the fact that a person did it. Like you can see the human hand in this piece. Like there's this one piece where it was a big freaking circle. It's, you know, that's just a abstract art piece. It's a big circle. But then you come to realize, oh, when you zoom in, this circle was made in graphite, actual number 2 pencil graphite, and the drawing is completely like even. Like everything is like even. Like everything is like an even, like just an even color thing, and that's mainly because like a human actually just stood there and refined this to the point where you're seeing like all the layers of like the graphite coming together in this like large, crazy even thing. And that's like a feat of human, I guess, human achievement. Not even like not human achievement like it's a crazy stunt, but like the fact that a human took the time to even do it is something to acknowledge in itself. And I think actually like visiting the museum of the Art Institute Museum in Chicago kind of really, I guess it refilled my art brain a bit, because I never really appreciated art as much as I did when I actually went to an art museum and saw the technicality of it. And it's kind of like, oh, that's why those old pieces are really good, because they're legit that good. And it's like, huh. And then you kind of like realize, and it actually kind of sort of filled me with a sense of like, I guess I felt this like sense of like, if they can do it, I can do it too. And I kind of just had this odd sense of like, maybe like artistic hope. I've actually kind of like been feeling that whenever I do visit art museums, is that whenever I visit art museums, it kind of like gives me this sense of like, you know, just mental, just revival or something like that. Like I feel like I guess I'm improved as a soul person or something like that. It's difficult to really explain. But essentially, I guess long story short, it's good to visit an art museum every once in a while, especially if you're an artist yourself. And you don't necessarily have to be like, oh yes, I'm going to truly appreciate art, like on that like messaging and symbolic level and stuff like that. But it's like, you can go there to kind of just appreciate just the technicality of actual fine art. Someone was actually painting, and not just painting in an era where it's like those materials are very difficult to acquire. So it's like they were basically like just getting that down. So I totally recommend at least visiting some kind of art museum. Like I live in Illinois. I live like in northern Illinois, so I'm close to Chicago. So I've gone to the Museum of Contemporary Art, and I've also been to the Art Institute Museum. And you know, both of them are really strong, especially if you're a resident of Illinois and you live in Illinois. You can have like free museum days on like Thursdays and stuff like that. Essentially, if you're a resident of Illinois, you'll be able to like get in for free. If you're a resident of Chicago, you know, there's like other days that you can get in. But like if you're a resident for Illinois, you can get in on like certain days. But like Chicago, I think it's like you can get in that museum every day if you actually live in the city proper. So that's one of those like just things that, you know, just make Chicago pretty nice with that. Okay. Find the leaf just a bit more. And again, I'm kind of just using the shadows of the taking advantage of just the shadows of the pixels, kind of just give it a bit more, you know, take advantage of the lighting. That looks like a tangent, so I'm gonna like push that. So it kind of like goes out in detail. Okay. Just a wee bit of like vine refinement. All right. Right. Out of foliage. Painting in some really cool foliage here. Oh yeah, I think I'm gonna like once this like foliage is like knocked out, I'm gonna let this go, because yeah, this is a whole lot of foliage that I'm kind of like just putting in here. But so yeah, so far so good with this. I'm nearly like, I'd say I'm in a good spot that I could let this cutscene go. Because yeah, it looks like a nice like refinement of its details. Yes, yeah, that's plenty. And now what I can do is I can dither the crap out of this. Now, I could just give you just a wee bit more. I just blend out just a bit. I just blend out. Because that's what this dithering's for, to kind of just soften the shadows, kind of just give it more of a natural shape. Because when you kind of like zoom out, the dithering and the leaves just look much more, you know, the shadows are less harsh. And since this is essentially supposed to be a still image and not a since it's not supposed to be an animated image, you can take advantage of the fact that you're dithering with that. Because the one main reasons why I guess pixel artists don't dither that much is because a lot of pixel artists do animate. They make animated GIFs. So, you know, it's very, very difficult to animate dithering. So yeah, of course pixel artists aren't really gonna dither that much, because yeah, people are going to just have a lot of trouble getting that down. So I can see how people can kind of just struggle with getting that down like that. But yeah, I mean, dithering's best for backgrounds and stuff like that, so of course, no shit, you don't dither when you're animating a character. But yeah, if you're doing a background, yeah, you should dither. Like, dithering makes these backgrounds look more natural than, you know, dithering's kind of just my cheat code to the smooth brush effect. Like, dithering is basically a pixel artist's airbrush. Like, if you can make a dithering brush, you know, you're going to basically just improve your backgrounds by tenfold. But all right. Now, leave that be. Take advantage of just the shadows. Because yeah, when you zoom out, the shade just blends out just so good. Yeah, zoom out, it looks slightly better. Let's blend that out. Yeah, I'm overworking it too much. I'd say for now I'm just gonna let this cook. Just let you cook. You look good enough, I'd say. You look like a fine foliage scene. I could probably like do like a little animation where it's kind of like chuckling. I could probably do something like that. They'd probably like refine it like that. But yeah, that'll probably be for something later. But yeah, right now it's 9, or at least 8:49, so it's basically bedtime. It is basically sleepy time, so I'm just gonna let you wrap for now. Hope everyone's enjoyed this stream so far and enjoyed me yapping about, you know, just my weekly to-dos. Yeah, and I agree, he's about to turn someone into a porcupine. Oh yeah. That'd be a cool idea. Like, what would a porcupine knight be like? Because I do have an idea for a hedgehog knight. So let me see if I can actually find the, I actually have an idea for a hedgehog knight. Let me see if I can't find it. Yeah. I made a hedgehog knight like a long time ago. Oops. Yeah. Probably like somewhere. Ah, there it is. So yeah, this was the hedgehog knight that I got at the moment. Essentially, its ability is it can just be impaled by a million different weapons, and it's able to just, basically that's its quills. It's just being impaled by literally everything. That was kind of just my like fun idea of like a zombie type hedgehog. Guy just wears it's kind of just this mystery hedgehog who just impaled by everything. It's very spiky. I imagine wields a Morningstar mace, or like partners with another character, and it hangs on a chain, and he's just swinging around with this partner, and like the partner swings him around like a Morningstar. There's some stuff you can do. There's some like fun little things. The one thing that I do pride myself in trying to do with a lot of these animal designs is I try to do animal designs in a sense that it's a role that you couldn't simply fill if it was like an elf doing it or something like that. Yeah, the pinfishing knight, as I like to call it, hedgehog. Oh yeah. Yeah, why is this Uh-oh. Oh, I was like, where's Ned's thing? I was like, okay. I was like wondering where the heck his tail is. Oh, come on. Alright, so we have him. Yes, pinfishing knight, or as we call that, hedgehog. Yeah, some fun stuff with that. But yeah, like, you know, doing some stuff that mainly animals can do in terms of like the fantasy setting. So yeah, like doing like hedgehog stuff, or like stashing your arrows in your tail as a quiver and stuff like that. Like do like little unique things that animals can do that couldn't just simply be filled by an elf or an orc or anything like that. So that's kind of a thing that I kind of like pride myself in trying to just do with my design. So, you know, that is what it is with that. But of course, figuring out like how they work in terms of like a bigger, broader world is something that I still need to dive deeper into. But that's a thing that I can talk about another time. Anyway, thank you everyone for stopping by. It's been a nice time. I've gotten a decent amount of actual pixel art work done. I was kind of worried that I've been neglecting a lot of my pixel art stuff, but the big thing you gotta remember is you gotta take those little victories at a time, because otherwise you'll kind of just feel guilty for feeling guilty. You know, you'll be angry at yourself, and then you'll get angry for feeling angry. So, you know, you kind of have to find the little, I guess, rocks to grip on to keep yourself from sliding down that slippery slope of, you know, the downward spiral. So, that's how that goes. Oh, thank you. Yes, this stream's been pretty nice, and listening to me talk, that's good. So sometimes I feel like I probably ramble a little too much, but that's thanks for thanks for telling me. Anywho, thank you Sagoshi, thanks for following my stream. Thank you Shawnee if you're lurking, and thank you anyone else who's currently lurking. I will see you all next week. Have a good night.